It is May 5th, 2017. This is the Watchman News, and I'm Mike Callahan. Well, those that have watched the live shows are aware that been having a bit of an issue with the network that we were partnered with, Freedom Network. And I'm sure this is probably happening with all the networks. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Well, the thing of it is they had given us a contract that is absolute censorship of our channels. I mean, it's kind of insane. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of things in the contract, but in the description of the video, I'm going to put a link. I uploaded the PDF file to the Watchman News website, and I'm going to put a link in the description so that people can, download it, pass it around as they please. But I figure that, with everything going on, everything that's going on with the monetization of videos and stuff like that, that people are going to want to see it. I personally, like I've told you guys before, I don't care. I don't care. There's not enough there for me to care. But I'm not everybody. Other channels actually make something from YouTube, and they're the ones that are being hit, and they're being hit hard. I've been hearing 50 to 75% losses some of these channels are experiencing, and that's insane. That is absolutely insane. It's theft, and so we need to out this. I can't speak for all channels. I can only speak for mine. But I really don't think that we do anything here that deserves to be scrutinized. I really don't. All we do here is we tell the truth. I use my best judgment on the stories that I bring, and I do my best not to use profanity, not to be obscene. The only times that anything is shown on the channel that is graphic is when it is needed, when it has to be, when it absolutely has everything to do with the story. So I don't understand why mere truth is something that they should be attacking. So I remember, and if anybody listening to this has not heard Minister Farrakhan, and his rant that he had one day, put in YouTube. Just put in Farrakhan Blasts Media. Farrakhan Blasts Media. Now, I'm not a Farrakhan fan or anything like that, but with what was said during that rant, it was so powerful and so true. And I agree with that 110%. And, our media still hasn't learned. Our media is still doing this. But now they're coming after us, the ones that do get it, the ones that do understand that the truth is a needed thing. It's an absolutely needed thing. And so now they're coming after us. So again, if you haven't seen that video, whether you like Minister Farrakhan or not, I'm not a fan of his whatsoever, but, Farrakhan Blasts Media. That'll get you to the right ones. You'll see it, and if you haven't heard it before, you will be shocked. It's just as good, if not more, than the Dylan Ratigan rant. So anyway, let me go ahead and get you guys to this contract here. That's what you see up in front of you. It says talent agreement, yada 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 yada. Of course, it's got the typical stuff that nobody reads. But if we get down here, live stream content, I want to cover these two paragraphs and then the first paragraph under payments. Okay, live stream content. As of the effective date, talent, which means me or you, will coordinate with Freedom, which is the network, in good faith regarding all live streaming content that talent may create. An example, real-time or near real-time streaming of live content of any kind, including commentary, discussion, gameplay, esports, etc. Collectively, the live stream content on the talent's channels or on such other freedom-controlled channels as mutually agreed upon by freedom and talent. So in other words, like I was explaining the other day to folks, this is the same thing as the laws that have been put in place in different places that, ministers have to submit a copy of their sermon, right, and get it approved. This is Nazi Germany stuff, folks. This is Nazi Germany stuff. This isn't a game. All right, continuing. The parties will coordinate and agree on whether live stream content will be recorded, edited, and distributed on Talent's channels or on such other Freedom-controlled channel on YouTube as mutually agreed upon by Freedom and Talent, or video on demand viewing following the conclusion of the applicable live stream. Okay, and that's like if I wouldn't make them to go to unlisted, if I'd let them to go up public to recording, where you guys could go back and watch it anytime. So let's go to the payment terms, and in just this first paragraph here says it all. VOD content, that's video on demand. Freedom reserves the right to change its requirements for any talent to join the network, and Freedom reserves the right to reject any application for any or no reason, subject to Talent's compliance with the terms and conditions of this agreement and the terms and conditions of any other agreements Talent may have with Freedom, and provided that Talent is not a consultant, affiliate, or employee of Freedom. For each piece of video content that is displaying in streaming VOD format on Talent's channel hereunder, Talent will be entitled to receive from Freedom an amount inclusive of all applicable sales and value-added taxes, specified in the application as accepted by Freedom. All advertisement-supported video views generated in territories where ad monetization and reporting are provided to Freedom by each platform by way of streaming online VOD distribution on the Talent's channel, Talent and Freedom agree that Freedom will, in its discretion, acting reasonably and using information provided to it by each platform, be the party solely responsible to determine the relevant number of ad-supported views generated and applicable hereunder. Now, I'm not going to reread that. You can rewind the video if you didn't catch that, or read it for yourself. But what that is saying, in the beginning parts of it, what that is telling you is that, first of all, for any reason, they don't even have to give you a reason. It's like the at-will states. Okay, we live in an at-will state, all right? And you've got people that argue between at-will and right-to-work states, and they're both a joke, folks. We get screwed both ways. An at-will state, what that means is an employer can fire me at any time for any reason and does not even have to give me a reason. That's BS. That is absolute BS. In fact, that was one of the strong points of unions, was because that didn't happen in a union, right? Unless you majorly screwed up, you could appeal, you could, there was a process before they could just kick you to the curb. Well, anyway, so that's taking away that, well, not that this is union, but that's taking away, at least they think it's taking away liability. See, I'm not committing a crime by telling you the truth, okay? So, technically, they are committing a crime because I didn't do nothing. You can put anything you want on paper, right? But there's certain things that cannot be violated. For instance, let me give you an example. One of the jobs I worked at, right? Hell, I was still in high school doing this. I was working 40 to 60 hours a week and going to high school full time. Well, because of the job that I worked, it just wasn't feasible for us to have a lunch break or breaks. The reason why is because I ran a machine that laminated aluminum foil. It put a poly film on top of the foil. They use it in plants, in potted plants. They call it a hat. Well, anyway, I ran the machine that colored the foil and also glued the poly layer to the foil. Well, anyway, it wasn't feasible to take a break because my machine could wrap up while I was on the break, and that would be hours and probably a stained knurl and just a nightmare. Well, anyway, I signed an agreement that, I agreed that it was okay that I didn't get any lunch or I didn't get any breaks. I signed an agreement. That agreement wasn't worth the paper it was written on, okay? And I could have went back and challenged that company in court, but I didn't, because it's one of those good faith things for me. If I agree to something, if I tell you something, you can take my word. I'm not going to come back later and haunt you. Well, anyway, the thing of it is they are trying to get out of any liability because they're having pressure put on by them. If they don't play YouTube's game, okay, YouTube won't allow them to be a network. Now, this guy, kind of a weird guy, if you watch the Freedom videos, but anyway, he's, I think he's probably made millions from the Freedom Network. Okay, you have to understand. I mean, we aren't nothing with our channel, but they get 30%, right? And, all they do is run a website, essentially. That's all they do. Hell, he moved his office to the Philippines and all. It must be nice, right? I'm telling you, I think this guy done pretty good for himself. Well, and that's fine. I have no issue with that. But the thing is he don't want to lose that, and he's compromising this thing called morals, right? Integrity. He's compromised all that, which if you watch his videos, I question whether he had it to begin with. But anyway, let me talk about the second part of this without getting too far off path here. So anyway, let me quick. Right. So beyond YouTube, now Freedom can say, you know what? Your analytics say that you got 10,000 views on that video. Yeah, right. In my case, it's not going to happen, but 10,000 views on that video. But we think it's only worth us paying you for 3,000 views. This contract is giving them the ability to be able to manipulate your numbers. I mean, you might see the correct numbers on YouTube, but it's giving them the ability to say, well, I'm only going to pay you for X amount of all those views. So this is what's going on, folks. I want to make it real clear. I don't care. I'm kind of hoping I get dropped from Freedom. So I'm waiting for them to tell me either way, which I haven't heard anything, so I figure that's probably my answer. But if they're not going to sign me back up, then they need to let me know and cut me loose so that we can get everything else set back up. Just go through Google AdSense. So I don't care either way. I don't care if YouTube takes away my AdSense. I could really care less. But I think people need to know what's going on, and that's the whole reason why I've been doing this. I'm not crying because I don't make enough to cry, right? So, I just think I think what's going on is wrong. I think it's immoral, and I think it's violating human rights. And that may sound kind of steep to you, but no, it's not. Denying the ability for others to know the truth is definitely violating a human right. I would say it's a human right for us to know what the hell's going on, especially when it directly involves us. I would say it's a human right to know. So Freedom, thank you for violating human rights. YouTube, thank you for violating human rights. So, please upload videos of y'all just like Heil Hitler, right? Please, let people know who you really are.